Somebody wrote in and said, my girl is 8 on the autism spectrum, just started organic food, and I want to know if there's a doctor to see to guide me through this process. And she's very clear, this mom, and she says, I want recovery. Whatever I can do to help my girl have less symptoms of stimming to clear her from this fog. My child sees a pediatric doctor and an autism doctor, but both are not telling me to help through recovery and not helping with food or vitamins. I want to get a doctor by my side to help me. I can't find that here where I live in Louisiana. Can you please help me? And thank you for being here for me and my girl. So I'm going to throw a couple of things out at you that, first of all, when we're talking about, if we're going to use the R word, right, we have to talk a little bit about that for a second. But then I also want to say to you that there isn't, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? There's no, I have looked far and wide, and I have not yet met someone who meets the criteria of recovery as I understand it to be, which is that you don't need any supports for your life, that you're able, without supports, to maintain a B or C average in your schoolwork, and that you're able to do all the things that you want to do in your life with nothing holding you back. That's sort of the criteria that I hold for the R word. But I've yet to meet someone who has that. I met lots of people who had that used to have an autism diagnosis, but no one who didn't have ABA therapy. So we can talk about the autism doctor, we can talk about the diet, we can talk about things that help your child to clear the fog, all of that stuff. But all of that stuff clears the fog, and then you have to learn, and you're behind. So whatever you're doing, and whatever, and I applaud you wanting to keep your child's diet clean, whatever, but the ABA piece has to be there, yes?
ABA piece has to be there because for whatever reason, your child is not learning like everybody else. And so what we always tell people is we're not here to teach your child everything. That's impossible.
Right.
But we can figure out and help your child figure out how they learn. And if we can show them a better way to learn, or at least how to break down the information that they're receiving when they're out there, in life, then if they can figure out how to learn, then that's the piece they're missing.
Yeah.
It's the big piece. And it's not often simple, but it is with ABA right now. If you're sleeping better, eating better, feeling healthy, of course, for all of us, we all learn better. We're more aware, we're more awake, we're more attentive. If there is some kind of biomedical piece that prevents you, and for us, like neurotypically, if I have allergies on that day, I'm not as quick.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that keep us away biomedically. So that is a piece that here at CARD we do encourage a lot, is address both issues, but it is both.
Yeah, and so to answer your other part of your question, because I just didn't want to leave that out, there's a group of doctors that they're called MedMaps doctors, and it's maps with 2 Ps. And I don't know what that stands for anymore. I used to.
I used to, too.
It was like medical, I don't know. I'm not even going to try. But you can Google it, MEDMAPPS.
And then if you put autism, it comes right up.
There you go. And there's probably one in your area, but some of them do telehealth. One of my favorite MedMaps doctors that does telehealth, if you have a naturopath in your area, then he's able to do telehealth in most states, is Dr. David Berger in Florida. And so you would go to your local naturopath, and then he would advise them on things to do for your child. But if you're talking about diet, Julie Matthews is the recognized far and wide expert, and she has books. There's and a website, Nourishing Hope, and you can go and find out so much information. I always think that I know a fair bit about the diet thing, and I'll go on to one of her webinars and she'll say something. I'll never forget the time I was on a webinar and she was talking about something and she was like, well, and when you soak your grain, and everybody on the webinar was like, what did you just mutter about soaking grain? And she was like, well, when you soak your grains before you, do you know about this?
No, I don't. I've heard about it, but I don't know anything.
We were all like, say what again? And she was like, oh, you guys don't know about soaking your, okay, let's stop for a second and talk about soaking your grains because it makes them more digestible. And I was like, I've never heard that before in my life. And she's full of things like that. She really is the recognized expert far and away. So she's somebody And she has a website, she has a book, and she has private coaching. So Julie Matthews, Nourishing Hope, and I'll reach out to her to see if we've had her on the show before. We'll see if we can have her be on the show again.
People love her.
She's brilliant and knows more about diet than any 8 million people I know. So there's that. And I do think, as you were saying, that, you know, a person has to be healthy and their digestive system has to work, right? And all the other systems have to work to be able to optimally learn. But once they're optimally able to learn, then you want to teach them in the quickest, most effective way that there is, and that's ABA. The science is in on that. That's the thing to do. And in Louisiana, you have a lot of ABA providers that are there. Obviously, I'm going to recommend that if you can be with a card office, do that. But those options are available to you. Everything that I just listed is available to you in Louisiana. Anything you want to add, madam?
I do know from having gone to Louisiana quite a bit, the medical part is a challenge. Okay. Finding providers is a challenge. Louisiana, when we arrived at CARD, there were no other ABA providers at the time, and now there's a lot, which is great. But it does take some time for the local community to catch up. Yeah. And medically, definitely, I know a lot of our families have had trouble finding people who are local. But you do take those options like Dr. Berger in Florida, where you're not that far away, and if he's willing to do telehealth, doing the research, finding a provider who's willing to listen and to try something new. Because I think that many times in the medical community, I mean, they want to only do what's tried and true. But with autism, it's so new and it's so diverse and it's spectrum that the doctors who are willing to work, that's really, I think, a characteristic that you need to find in a medical professional. Someone that's willing to hear something else, hear another professional, and be able to question and look at your child and say, is this working, is this not working, what is best for them?
Okay. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.